Sonic Heroes is probably... I'm probably going to be the most biased in this Sonic review than any other Sonic review because I'm a Sonic fan, for the most part. I feel that this game does deserve the praise I'm going to give it, though. So, let's start off. Why I say I'm going to be the most biased with this game than any other game. Because it's the first Sonic game I've ever played. When I got my PS2 about 9 years ago, I got 3 games. It came with ATV Off-Road Fury 2, which is what most PS2 systems came with, and my parents bought me 2 games along with my PS2. And that was The Hobbit and Sonic Heroes. So, you might think I'm biased, but as I got older, I found the flaws in the game to be a little more transparent, but not as big as saying that it's an awful game, it's a bad game, it's a decent game, it's an okay game, because I think it's a great game. Let's start off with the graphics. The graphics are pretty damn good. I mean, I know the graphics, weren't the best at its time, obviously, because on the PC side of everything, it was, like Far Cry or whatever, the graphics were pretty damn good in 2004, but like now, comparing it to today's graphics is kind of pointless, Sonic Heroes, but let's move on. Sonic Heroes was basically a revival of the Sonic series. Because since Sega decided to go third party and not die a slow, painful death, or a quick death, whichever you want to say, they made games. They first made a game. They first ported Sonic Adventure 2 to the GameCube. And then they made their first multi-platform game, Sonic Heroes. Now, Sonic Heroes was basically, I got the PS2 version. People seem to be crazy over the GameCube version for whatever reason. I have no idea. It's the same game. So, say what you want on that. But I've only got my hands on the PS2 version. But the PS2 version is pretty good. There's no significant difference between any of the 3 versions. Or 4 versions. I don't know how the PC version works though. But basically the game story is revolved around 4 essential teams, basically. The first team is the team everyone's going to want to play with. Team Sonic. Team Dark is basically, I guess, not really evil, but they seem like a mercenary group, in my opinion. Team Rose, which is kind of like a team I wanted to avoid. And then there's Team Chaotix. Now, let me go on to all the characters. Team Sonic's characters, obviously Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Team Dark is Shadow, Omega, a new character in the game, and Rouge the Bat, who you've seen in Sonic Adventure 2. Team Rose consists of Amy Rose, who I'll get into why this is strange later, Big the Cat, who's the one that had those fishing levels in Sonic Adventure 1, and Cream the Rabbit, which is another strange addition to the team. And then there's Team Chaotix, which is probably one of my favorites. You got Espio, who's a chameleon, Espio the chameleon. You have Vector, like the crocodile, I think he's a crocodile. And you have Charmy the bee. And that's a good thing about this. You might think, why are there 3 characters in this game if you never played this game before? You playing 3 characters at once. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem too bad, it's not too bad. But it's basically a team-based game, even though one player is the entire team, but you know what I mean. Like, all the characters have to work together. And when you go through the 3 types of elements, you should say, I guess, in this game. There's speed, which is basically you going fast, homing attack your enemies through, basically basic Sonic style gameplay. Then you have power, which is basically the muscles of the game. You get to, like, the power system in each team is slightly different. And then you have fly mode, which is basically you're flying, basically. I mean, for a limited amount of time. You can easily fall off the level if you exhaust the fly meter. So, let me explain on Team Rose why this is a little strange. Not even a little strange, very strange. Team Rose's level, Team Rose's team, I should say, has it out that Rose is fast and Cream the Rabbit can fly. Now, here's a theory that people have been talking about, that Cream the Rabbit can fly because she has a chow with her. But, I don't know. And they all have... And they're all looking out for Chaos Emeralds or whatever. Basically, your typical Sonic-style gameplay. Whatever. And then, after you complete everything, let me just talk about the level design, though. The level design is basically similar in all of them. Yeah, I know, but the boss battle, when you're fighting against different teams, such as, after the power plant level, Sonic versus Team Rose, I think that's, and then it's different because Team Chaos is going after Team Dark. Even though all of their level designs are essentially the same, there is a key difference in the game, in all of them. The gameplay style, that's a key difference. Sonic is your basic, basic gamer goes after, whatever. Team Dark basically is for intermediate players, which I found Team Dark to be so similar, though, to Team Sonic, in my opinion. But Team Rose is, basically for beginners. And Team Chaotix is very different from all the other ones. Sure, the level design's the same, but they have objective-based gameplay instead of go to the end of the stage or whatever. Instead, you have stuff like collect 10 hermit crabs, collect 10 keys, destroy all the enemies in the game, and that's a key difference in the gameplay, and I find it satisfying. The only a bad thing now that I've seen in the game that I haven't seen before is the overall design, is that the level designs are all the same. The only time where this doesn't matter is in Team Chaotix's gameplay, because sure, the level design might be the same, but it's an entirely new experience looking for different stuff, doing different things. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on that one. Sure, the level design's a little slightly different in all of the, in all the, teams, but it's not significant enough, and I do find it to be a con, in a way, which I never found to be a problem before, because I was like, hey, I played through this, I know how to get past this and pass through that. The soundtrack's pretty good, too. The soundtrack's very good. It's very memorable. I have nothing wrong with the soundtrack at all. So, what's my overall thoughts on this game? I think it's a very good game. It was, not so, I'm sure the game is not as good as I thought it would be because of the flaw I discussed with the level design being the same and the overall infrastructure of the teams is basically the same, except for Team Chaotix, which is the one exception. But I think the game is deserving of a 96%. I know that's a little high or whatever, but if you would have asked me what I thought about the game 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, whenever I started playing this game 9 years ago, sorry, I would have said it's the perfect game. But it's not a perfect game. It's a pretty damn good game, though. It was made very well, and I'm glad that they continued the Sonic series on from, Sonic Heroes and on forward. But my next review is going to be of Shadow the Hedgehog for the PlayStation 2, which, review-wise, it's an overall negative game, but you could see my opinion on the game fairly soon.